Welcome to the Inner Blueprint Podcast. I'm Sean Foyer, the Universal Mindset Disruptor. With over 20 years of turning blueprints into thriving home improvement businesses, I've learned that the strongest foundations start in your mind. Whether you're building a business or your own success, we're here to reshape how you think and face daily life and always remind you to enjoy the ride. Welcome back to another episode of Inner Blueprint, the podcast dedicated to helping you think better thoughts. So hopefully, if you follow along, you'll get some better results. I'm your co-host, Sean Foyer, here with the beautiful, amazing
Caitlin Foyer.
And in today's episode, we're going to take a deep dive on a topic. We don't have a guest today. And
We just get to chat. You're my guest.
yeah, so,
I'm your guest.
All right, do you want to interview me? Let's go. What do you want to know, Caitlin? What have you always wanted to know?
We should do an episode one time that's like, ask us anything. I'm so down for that. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Or where we interview each other, right?
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything you could ask me that I haven't told you.
Well, for me personally, yes, but for the list, like for people.
No, I know.
tuning
I'm just
in,
saying
you
what
know.
we're rabbit holing here
Yeah.
about is like, what do you want to know?
We've literally have told each other, asked each other literally everything. We you know me, I'm a huge fact finder. So I'm like, well, what about this? What about that? Have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? Have you ever been here? What have you done? Like, you had a whole lifetime before me. So I'm a fact finder. So I'm like, I have to know all the things.
Mine was a little longer, but you had a whole lifetime too.
I did too, but it was, much less time.
Yeah.
But yeah, today I just want to talk about right now, people are so divided in our country, right? And I don't want to talk about politics.
No, but just the chaos that is right now.
It's chaos. It's so funny. It seems like in our world right now, there's no such thing as a win-win situation for people. Not for us. We don't believe that, right? But it's like, economy swings this way. There's a bunch of people loving it. Then there's a bunch of people hating it. Economy swings the other way. There's a bunch of people loving it. There's a bunch of people hating it.
Somebody wins an election.
Yeah, somebody.
Half the country
this
loves
person's
it,
in
half
office.
the country
Yeah,
hates it. Yeah.
This person's in office. Half the people love it, or and more than half the people love it. Less than whatever those numbers work out to, right? So it just seems like no matter what is going on in the world, there's division.
Yeah. Well,
Which is interesting.
Division's a tool that's used by, let's call them the elite, to keep societies separated. I mean, it's happened for thousands of years. In fact, we were talking about this topic with our producer. I don't know this story firsthand, but Diego shared with me that the Romans had a saying, bread and circus. Keep them fed and keep them entertained, and you'll keep them distracted and keep them away from what's really going on. And, for us, we don't want to talk conspiracy today, although we may dive into it a little bit. Because
I am such a conspiracy
When I was
theorist.
raised by a doomsday father, but it's just the practice of presence. When you're dealing with a chaotic environment, and the world we live in today is chaotic, and all the news outlets, the social media, they want one thing. They want your attention. And if they get your attention, they want a divided attention. They want, you think about in professional sports, we got two teams playing all the time. Yeah. Pick a side. In politics, we have a two-party system. Pick a side. There is a method to the madness of trying to keep a population and people separated in ideology. And the challenging part is as separated as they try and make us or keep us, we're all the same as human beings.
Yeah.
I mean, at a core level, what most human beings want is to be loved, accepted, to have food and shelter, and a way to provide for themselves and their family. We are all the same in that. And I know now, together we work with hundreds, going on thousands of individuals. And the first question we start with is, what do you want? Mm-hmm. Everyone wants at some level very similar things. And so how do we live in a world that we are one? We are one. We are all
seems
one.
Like nobody wants the same things, yet everybody at the core level does.
Yeah, they do. I mean, in relationships, no matter what you're looking for at some level, everybody's looking for the same thing from a personal relationship.
Yep.
In a profession, in work, everybody's looking for some of the same things.
Same feelings,
security,
right? Might not be the exact same material things, but same feeling, right?
Yeah. Well, I think to really make this an impactful episode for the listeners, let's understand the mind. This is a mindset podcast and episode, and we talk all about it. So today, Caitlin and I, and you, listener, we have a human mind. And the human mind that we're operating with today is the same human mind that's been on this planet for probably 40,000 years.
Since there was first life on the planet,
yes,
right?
Human life, you're right? The human mind. I mean, I did some research, and the human mind has been very similar. In fact, if you go even 2,000 years ago, the mind we operate with today is the same mind. And when you understand how the mind is programmed, emotional events, spaced repetition of thought, 2,000 years ago, people were being programmed by their environment, by animals, by other human beings. They didn't have what we have today. So we fast forward to today, we wake up this morning, this old mind of ours that's easily programmed is now being submitted to so much data. In fact, in a single day, think about this. In a single day, you will be bombarded with more information than ancestors maybe 100 years ago were bombarded with their entire 70, 80-year lifespan. Think about that.
People born in the last decade. Absolutely.
Yeah. Our minds are
Or not
overloaded.
decade, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah,
Century.
last century, in about 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, since really the invention of computers and then the internet and literally the world we live in today, you've got screens everywhere. You've got messages coming at you. And they're designed to sell you something, whether it be an idea, an ideology, or a product. You know, social networks, there's, you know, the Netflix special about the network, right? And it was all about likes. And originally it had good intent. But today, the intent is to sell you something. They have advertisers paying for your likes, paying for your eyes, paying for your views.
Paying for your mind.
And you just have to look at, okay, how as a human being with this human mind, do I create peace and presence and happiness for myself in a world that thrives on information and a lot of the time negative information?
Yeah.
You know, and again, the mind fight, flight, or freeze hasn't changed in 2,000 years.
Oh, those are the same guttural responses to anything, right? Fight,
Yeah.
flight, freeze.
And 2,000 years ago, that was probably induced by an animal or another village attacking you, and then you had to fight it or flight it. Today, you can be driving in your vehicle and get a text message that feels like a tiger attacking you. And so really, we just want to understand, okay, I've got this human mind. It's easily programmable. Whatever I'm thinking right now, 95% of it is programmed pattern from life experiences. How do I create happiness? How do I create abundance?
Yeah. It's so interesting too, because when we take it back that far, we realize how easily persuaded we are or how easily programmed we actually are. Our mind is actually a simple thing. It's
complex and simple at the very exact same time.
Yeah, down to the base level it is, right? And so what is programming your mind right now? Like, how are you programmed? Are you programmed to hate anyone that cheers for the opposing team that you love? A lot of people are.
Yeah. I mean, even not getting political, but even politics. You go on social media, people are getting in fights, arguing. And
Which is crazy.
they're
They don't
standing
even
on
know them
beliefs,
personally.
and they don't even know if what they're standing for is true. I mean, they don't. It's
Right?
it's the truth they've accepted, but it was programmed into you at some level.
At some level. And it's so funny, like for us, like one of my really amazing friends has a completely different political outlook than we do. Very much so. I mean, he's a raging liberal. Like he'll own that, right? I'm not like, I hate you. You're still one of my favorite people in this world. I love your opinions. I love to get like how you think, and I love to respect that about you because it's truly what what he believes, and I love that about him. He doesn't hate me because of who I like. I don't hate him because of who he likes. We still love each other no matter what. Like,
I just don't think that's super common though.
and
in
that's
today's
and that's
world.
what I'm thinking. But it's possible, and I feel like that's how it used to be. A lot. I remember growing up, and like my aunts, my uncles, like my dad, like my dad was very outspoken in what in anything he believed, right? Whether that was politics, food, weather. I mean, the man was very, very, very passionate about what he believed in, and he would argue to the death to get people on the same train as him, right? But he didn't let it hinder his relationship with those people. He wasn't like, well, I hate you because you disagree with me.
Yeah.
He was like, I welcome the disagreement. Let's chat about it.
But again, talking about the technology change, that was a different world. That was face-to-face communication
Exactly.
with people that you loved, cared about.
There was no bullying
knew.
online.
Yeah, there was
no
no
online.
I mean, you get keyboard warriors that will say anything behind a screen, right? And there's not the face-to-face communication with another human being. But again, going back to it, it's, are you operating from the outside in, taking these these stimuli, this outside information, letting it, one, program you additionally, and two, if you don't agree with it, let it challenge you. I mean,
Yeah.
We have a
Welcome
mindset,
that.
it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. The message for today's episode for listeners is become more of an observer of your world, right?
You've started doing that really recently. And I at first I was like, what do you mean? Like, you're just going to observe it. Like, I feel like if I observe something, I have to do something with it. And you're like, no, just observe it. Just let it
Well,
be.
but that's a fallacy too, that we're programmed. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to change it?
Right?
If it's not you, your direct thoughts and actions, you can't change anything around you. You really can't. And this one, and if this challenges you, I'd love to message me. Let's debate it. Like, there's not anything on the outside world that you have total control over.
I do agree with that. And so it was so funny because you said that and it challenged my paradigm, right? Like, it totally challenged my paradigm of like, wow, yeah, you're right. I can just be an observer without an emotional or personal tie to something, right? And that's not being dismissive. That's not being like burying my head in the sand. It's just simply observing, and that's it.
Well, and for me, the difference is if I'm observing something, it's not creating an emotional response in me, and I'm able to process it logically. If I'm not observing it and I let it, say, trigger me and I get upset, now I'm dealing with a fight or flight response at some level.
Over something that has nothing to do with you, that you have no level of control over. Like, what? Yeah, you're right. Why do we do that? Like, everybody should be. It's just so funny. You sound like a Buddhist monk, right? But that's what they do.
No, a lot of the Buddhists, and even, a lot of the New Age, teachers that I do listen to, and I love my YouTube channel because it's got the algorithm programmed. And, when we sit in the sauna, I'll just let whatever comes up. And, Alan Watts is a guy who, if you've never listened to his material, go listen to a couple of Alan Watts. I mean, he'll trip you out. He's out there, but he talks about the happening, and it's just happening.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's a lot of stuff happening, and most of it I don't affect, right? Stock market up and down, trade tariff wars. I personally have no control over that right now.
Nope.
We could say we placed a vote, but even then, we don't have any control. It's happening regardless of what I do or not. So do I let that happening affect me in a negative way? Or do I let that happening? And again, to rabbit hole a little bit deeper, in one of the Alan Watts meditations that I'm absolutely obsessed with right now, he has you notice your breath. And right now, listeners, if you think about, you were breathing up until I just said that.
Now
you're aware of your breath. So take a couple deep breaths. I'm in control of my breath. It's happening, but I'm making it happen. But as soon as I stop thinking about it,
You'll still breathe.
I'm still breathing. It's still happening. And so then you have to question yourself, okay, is it happening or am I making it happen? He even talks about this, like the way light is being perceived by my eyes is creating what I'm seeing right now. It's happening regardless. And then I get to experience it through me. And it's crazy. It's just happening. Even with thoughts, 95% of our thoughts are patterned. They're happening all day. When I take conscious control, I can try and think something else, but when I'm not doing that, my thoughts are still happening. I don't know, this is getting a little deep in the weeds, but it's like first step in anything in mindset is just awareness. And in a chaotic world that we live in today, the more I'm aware that I have a choice to pause, that I have a choice to not think anything for a minute and just observe, then I can go to work and we won't go into the details, but we've talked on past episodes, we'll talk on future episodes. Every single day I have a choice. And the only choice I have is, what am I going to think about? What am I going to program into myself? And how can I protect myself from what's coming from the outside world? I mean, literally, you and I, and we both love our phones and we both spend probably more time on them. And I'm probably nagging on you more than me, but it's like, we got to be careful. Like, what's on that screen that you're watching right now? Because our ancestors didn't have a screen. They couldn't have somebody make a video that seems innocent that has intent behind it to program us, an opinion, something they want us to buy. And to me, I'm not paranoid, but I'm just observant. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting message. Wonder what the intent of that was. I don't like it. I don't want to know more about it. I'm just going to put it down and I'm going to focus my attention somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's very interesting how we choose to spend our time and what we choose to get reactive about these days. And it's easier than ever because of all the opportunity that we have in being thrown at us nonstop through all the screens, through different conversations, through things like that, right? You're right, because it's not face-to-face conversation where you're learning your facts and things anymore. It is from a screen.
Yeah.
And it is very, very targeted on dividing humanity.
Yeah. Whatever, like the algorithms behind anything you're seeing on a screen, if you like it, they're going to send you more of it.
Way more.
And so it's going to reinforce this belief you have stronger. And if there's an opposing side to it, it's creating a divide. It's taking you stronger to whatever side of an issue you're on, without questioning, without pondering, without looking back and saying, are there two sides to this coin? And guess what? There's always two sides to a coin. Always.
Yeah.
Always. There's never one side. We talk about the power of perspective. When I change the way I look at things, the things I look at change. I mean, there's literally quantum physics behind that. The particles of light in observation, depending on observation, go from an infinite ray to a particle. And so many times we're programmed to turn everything into a particle. There's nothing else to be said here. I'm right, you're wrong, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And what a limited place to try to create anything from.
Right. Thinking there's only two options or two sides to a story. You know what I mean? Like, it is so true. There's infinite possibilities, right?
Yeah, I mean, we learned the impact training we went to, they gave us those little possibility buddies. They were these little figures with 4 fingers. And the idea was, for any idea you have, there's at least 8 possibilities.
Yeah, that really changed. I was like, these are the dumbest little things in the world, and there's obviously way more than 8 possibilities for anything. But it was just a good reminder of your.
It's a minimum of 8.
Yeah, of getting caught up so much and like thinking this is the only way, or like these 2 ways are the only way. It's like, no, there's a minimum of 8. There is an infinite amount if you really wanted to go there.
Yeah. And I guess the bigger thing to really be thinking about right now as you're listening is, what do you want? What do you want? In our work, we talk about the trifecta. We have people focus on 3 areas of their life: finances, health and wellness, and relationships with self. And if you want more in any of those areas, the first step is going to be understand, what am I currently programmed at? Like money. Am I programmed to a certain level of income? I think it's wrong to want more, or even if I want more, my limiting beliefs about self, time, and money keep me from creating it. And we want to shift that. And who do you want to be in control of you? The screens and the programming that's coming from the outside world, or you? And for me, that was the biggest shift. When I started this journey right before I met you, was I've been responding outside in my entire life.
Yeah.
Things happen and I react or respond to them.
Thinking you weren't in control of it, right?
And trying to control it. I don't control the economy. I don't control the weather. I don't control other people.
I'm not in control of any of these things that are happening, but I'm going to try and control them, right?
Yeah, but I control me. And if I take control, and then the same way advertisers and people that program screens that we look at understand how they're programming us, if we understand that, block it, stop it, and then take control of the programming. I mean, that's where the power of self-affirmation comes into, the power of visualization. Like thinking your own wants, your own dreams, your own desires, and programming them from the inside out.
Yeah. So, are you programmed to watch the news every day? Are you programmed to believe everything they tell you on the news? As a business owner, are you programmed to believe like, well, there's tariffs right now, so this, like, you're going to go out of business.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. You're just in trouble.
You think about this. I mean, some of our clients, they're getting price increase letters. I mean, and all this information coming, prices are going up. Panic. What are we going to do in our business? And in reality, prices have always gone up.
Prices, and they always will. They will always go. They're not going to go down. They're just going to go up.
Yeah. And so it's happening. And is it happening for you or to you?
Yeah.
And every single time, you and I and most of the people we work with, we try and figure out how it's happening for us. And, in challenging moments, definitely challenging.
Yeah. People are, I have a lot of sales guys that are like, we don't know what to do because of all the tariffs and stuff. Like, no one's going to buy it. I'm like, this is the perfect time for them to buy it. They know the price is going up, so do it now before it goes up more.
Yeah.
Like, use this as an opportunity to have the biggest month of your life.
Yes.
You should be, because right now we know they're going up to this amount. We don't know how much they're going to go up after. We don't know these things. So before they do, get on board.
Yeah.
If I'm a consumer, I want to think the same thing. If there's something I need to do, I want to do it now versus wait to see. Wait to see it get more? Come on.
Yeah. Well, and understanding too, whether it's the news or social media, most clickbait that's trying to get your attention is negative.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the human mind.
Scare tactic.
One thing that hasn't changed is the human mind will run away from pain faster than it will run towards pleasure. So when you think about it, of course we're getting messages about the economy and about the sky is falling and about everything you should be worried and afraid of.
Non-stop.
Because that'll get you to move. That'll get you to run. And
well, it's so funny because even the news has always done that, right? It was never like, they don't tell you about the heroes. Right? They tell you about the
You don't see all the new babies that were born into this world, and
they tell you about the tragedies that happen. Like, okay, why is that headline like not about the hero that saved the day? It's about how bad this tragedy was instead. Like, it's not about the great things that happened from it. It's about the terrible things that actually happened. And it's right. It's fear mongering.
And they understand it.
And that's what gets them the views. That's what gets people living in that lack mentality, that scarcity mindset, it's because they're truly scared at some
Yeah.
level, right?
Yeah. And I've gotten better. I mean, I used to be,
I
really,
mean,
really reactive, especially to financial news. I mean, having, in my business going through some real challenges in the '08 recession that affected me personally, ended up experiencing quite a bit of loss from it. That was a program outside in of scarcity. And since then, I've spent every day trying to reprogram and get around it. But
how do you do it? Because I know you check our investment accounts every day. You check the stock market every day. There are certain things you check. And how do you stay positive when you see the stock market drop? Or how do you stay positive when you see our investment accounts drop? Like that, those are actual, real, true things that are happening.
well, yeah,
So what do you do personally, Sean?
I put it in perspective. It's happening. I'm 51 years old. My money that's in investment accounts is going to be there for another 20 to 30 years. And so in the last 2 months, we've seen a pretty big drop. We had a little bit of a bounce back up, but when the drop was at its worst, I looked at a couple different views: 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, and I looked at historical. It is hysterical.
A hysterical.
But historical of any investment group, it does this.
Yeah.
It does this. And
It
for me, it's
still
just that
trends up.
observation. No matter what's happening in this present moment, things are going to improve. We're always going to go through times of ups and times of downs. And the only thing I can protect is how the downs affect me. And like right now, you've noticed for probably the first time since you met me,
Yep.
the downs aren't affecting me anymore.
Yeah, you're not like
The
scarcity.
sky isn't falling. And
we
again,
can't buy this right now.
but it's a challenge if you've been in scarcity. And I have a lot of close friends and associates that got their butt kicked in the '08 recession. And that's
Yeah.
been a long time ago. It
I mean,
really
it
has.
was.
Well, and for some of us, some of our triggers are from childhood.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. I just refuse to let that stuff affect me anymore. Like, my energy is way too important to you, to the girls, to our family, to our clients, people I love and care about. I can't let the outside world disrupt that. And for me, in past lives, I thought I had a lot of control. And from the outside in, it looked like I did. But I was chaotic in the inside, trying to maintain this image of perfection. And today, our life is chaotic.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazier.
So
The world we
busy.
live in is chaotic, but our life, traveling as much as we do, doing some of the business and the events that we do. But the difference is I'm calm and present on the inside. And that's the message for today: is how do you create presence in midst of chaos? And it's an inside job. It's where, going back to our core principles, 30-minute daily ritual, 15 minutes of good material, 5 minutes of goal affirmation, 5 minutes of I am statements to try and create more of the good characteristics of myself that I want to bring out, 5 minutes of gratitude. That's the one consistent that every single day I can lean on, and it will help me block the noise of the messages I'm going to get bombarded with in the day.
Well, what do we do when the people around us are constantly trying to feed us this information, right? Because a lot of people listening right now go to offices or hang out with different friends that are trying to be like, did you hear about this? What are you going to do about that? Can you believe this? Things like that, right? I feel like I see it even with our daughters in junior high and high school. They're being taught right now to pick a side, regardless of what it is, on so many levels. I mean, it's so funny to hear Harper, who's 13, get really heated about something that I'm like, how do you know about this? And why are you so
Why do you
heated
care?
about it?
Why do you care? It doesn't affect us.
Yeah, what is happening? It just is, right? They get very reactive because one, teenage hormones are reactive, but two, they're being taught to do that. They're being programmed to do that. And so how do we, as people who are aware of this, right, not let it affect us from the outside in, when it's the people we work with constantly trying to give us this, or if it's our kids being programmed?
Well, you have a saying with the girls, though. You want to be the loudest voice in their head, and I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Parents listening to this, your kids are getting programmed, and again, their mind wasn't designed to put up with all the information they're getting bombarded with, and so as parents, it's our responsibility to be the loudest voice in their ear, trying to speak reason, trying to give them reassurance, trying to keep them from being programmed and swayed into something that doesn't serve them.
And teaching them about perspective too is such a huge thing. Like, hey, I don't understand why you're so upset right this now. So let's kind of dive into that, because I know you're looking at it from this way, but let's look at it from this way too. And let's just explore the perspectives. Then you can create an opinion.
Yeah.
Don't create an opinion based off one set of information that someone's giving you.
And it's never too late, but if you have kids, before 14 is when most of the original programming happens. After that, it's challenging. You've got from 14 to 18, the path to adulthood, trying to make our own decisions, and then above that, and, and I've shared before,
Yeah.
I have 4 adult children that I love more than anything, but there was a period of time where through a divorce, I was separated from them, didn't get to spend as much time as I would like. And they've all got programs, fears, and patterns. And it's sometimes hard to work with that.
Yeah,
right?
because you weren't able to be the loudest voice in there. Other
No.
voices were much louder.
Yeah.
And now we're dealing with what that looks like. And it's a challenge.
Yeah. And again, when I speak about this, I'm not saying either one of us are perfect. I've learned through life experience that while you have your kids at an age where you can be the loudest voice, let them
Do
be
it.
individuals. Encourage them to chase their dreams to be their own person, but also just make sure that with your level of awareness with this material, that you share that awareness. The girls, they're still in middle school and high school. We can teach them about the power of affirmation. We can teach them about gratitude. We can teach them about body image and self-worth.
And perspective.
My job as their bonus dad is really 2 things: self-love and self-confidence. If I can instill that in them and help support that, that's going to be the number one thing they can take out into the world. And, for me and my family, my younger brother, my mom, there was some lack of self-love and self-confidence that was impressed upon me. And I've done a lot of work to change it, but it's still there, and I think at some level I pass that on even to my adult children a little bit because, back when I started this process, I didn't have it.
Yeah.
And you can't share what you don't have. And
That's true.
I've had to do a lot of work.
Even when you
gain
try
that.
it doesn't land, right? It just doesn't.
No, it's inauthentic.
It's very inauthentic. And so it's really interesting, when you're dealing with whether it's kids and I want to move on to like coworkers and friends, right? Because we're not able to be the loudest voice in their ears 99% of the time. When people come to you with things and they're so heated about something, did you know these people lost? Or can you believe this game was rigged? Or this election was rigged? Or can you believe that? Da, da, da. I love Bob Proctor used to share the story about, who was it? Was it W. Clement Stone?
Yeah.
So W. Clement Stone would respond to everything.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's it.
Well, it's funny too. My stepdad, Ralph, who raised me, taught me so many amazing things. But one of the most challenging things that he tried to teach me was his doomsday. I mean, he was always preparing
Time to go to Costco.
for the end of the world.
Gotta stock up.
And you want to talk about he would come at me with a bunch of negative energy that I should be afraid, that I should be buying more food storage, that I should stop spending money. And that's where I really learned how to practice this because I loved and cared about him and respected him, but I didn't want to buy into that. And so I had learned, and literally from Jack, I would so many times say, wow, Dad, that's interesting. And I remember because I wouldn't get charged, he'd sometimes get upset with me and, are you hearing what I'm saying? You need to take action. And I would say, okay, all right, that's interesting. And I remember one time, probably multiple times, he called me an ostrich. Okay, you're just gonna be an ostrich and put your head in the ground and ignore what's going on? I'm like, well, if what you're talking about is true, there's not a damn thing I can do about it.
If the world's ending, there's nothing I can do about
the
it.
economy's going to collapse. We're going to get invaded by foreign armies, and that's really going to happen.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I got food storage, I got guns and ammo, I got what I need to protect myself.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. That's all I can control.
Any one of us could drop dead in the next few minutes. We don't know, right? Like, why are we stressed about those things?
Yeah. Well, again, for me, I mean, this human experience is challenging. We are going to have hard things happen. We're going to have health challenges of our own. We're going to have people we love and care about get sick. We're going to have people leave us. We're going to have people die. We're going to have all kinds of challenges. And in spite of that, we can still live a beautiful, happy life. And, Miss Kayla and I have been blessed with lots of challenge in our life. And because of the work that we do and the way we approach life, every challenge is a blessing. I always say when God gives me a new challenge, he's just throwing some weight on the bench and saying, Sean, can you lift this? And I know if he gives me the challenge, he believes I can lift it.
So I
go to work lifting it.
I lift it.
And again, it's, as a coach, I've got clients right now dealing with all kinds of challenges, most of which I've dealt with at some level. And
That's true.
I get to show up powerfully and say, I'm actually the perfect person to talk to because what you're feeling right now, I've actually felt that.
Let me give you my perspective from the other side of it.
Yeah. And if we can get through this and not let it negatively affect you, find the positive and get to the other side, that's when we really get to enjoy the ride.
So staying present in this chaotic world, Sean, what are your top tips?
Daily meditation.
Daily meditation. And that is so funny.
Minimum of 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes is really all you need.
And it can just be a breathing. Count your breath if you have a hard time shutting your brain off.
Unplugging from the stimuli.
There it is.
We're bombarded. And if you can meditate outside, get to Mother Nature.
Get grounded.
Get grounded in the earth. Put your bare feet in the grass. Close your eyes. Just breathe. It's just happening.
Be here now.
Life is just happening. And then gratitude, is the best way.
Gosh.
Yeah, I told you this morning, I woke up and we've been doing it so often. I just had gratitudes going in my mind to start the day. It's a chaotic world we live in. There's lots of challenges. I get to start every day with a little meditation, with a little gratitude.
Because there's always, and gratitude helps you see, like, however bad something is, like on this side of the pendulum, it always swings to the other side. So, like, what a chaotic world full of opportunity, right?
Yeah. And in a chaotic world, I can find peace and presence for 5 minutes every day.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes is, a happy life is just a string of happy moments. And I can choose happy in every moment.
Every
And
moment.
not always easy to do, but the more we practice it, the more we live it, and the easier it is to enjoy the ride. Well, good topic. Went a little deep there in a few areas, but hopefully we provided some value. If you liked what we're talking about, as always, subscribe, hit the like button. And if you know somebody in your life that could benefit from this message, please share it with them.
Please. We'd love it.
All right. Thanks for listening. Until next time, enjoy the ride. Welcome to the Inner Blueprint Podcast. I'm Sean Foyer, the Universal Mindset Disruptor. With over 20 years of turning blueprints into thriving home improvement businesses, I've learned that the strongest foundations start in your mind. Whether you're building a business or your own success, we're here to reshape how you think and face daily life and always remind you to enjoy the ride.